you don't need to just...
Welcome to the Allied Health Resource Allocation Decision Tool Help video. Question 1. How do you know which circumstance you are in? The healthcare system functions to improve the health and well-being of the members of the community that it supports. We do this by turning money from taxation and other sources into hospitals and the payment of healthcare professionals and the equipment they use so that they can improve the health of the community that they serve. The overarching goal of the Allied Health Resource Allocation Decision Tool is to maximise the health and well-being of our community by delivering the most effective and efficient allied health services that our available resources can provide. These resources can be turned into staff time to perform a range of different activities. We can increase the amount of staffing we provide to perform the same activity, and we can also allocate staffing to perform a different range of activities within the health system. We can also allocate these resources to purchase of equipment that staff use to support their activities. Further, we can use these resources to purchase or rent capital, rooms, space, and other items that are needed for a health service to function. You have three options that you can select when using the Allied Health Resource Allocation Decision Tool. The first is, are you trying to make a decision with a new or additional budget allocation and want to know the best way to allocate it? In this situation, your existing funding amount that you use to support the staff and the equipment that you use to provide allied health services is going to be increased. You can choose whether you increase the amount of staffing you allocate to existing activities, or whether you wish to increase the range of activities that you currently provide in other areas or potentially to other patient populations. But also consider that you could use this funding to purchase equipment or supplies and capital that can be used to support those staff members in providing the services that they provide. The second option is that you are trying to make a decision with no additional budget allocation and need to reallocate where your existing resources are currently consumed. So again, your overall amount of funding that you have at your disposal has not increased, but rather you are seeking to redistribute where that may be. So this is likely to entail replacing some services with others that you might view as being more effective or more efficient. Bearing in mind also that you can use this same funding to purchase equipment and capital to support the overall activities. It's important to note though that often funding comes in two packages. One may be a one-off funding amount, which is typically used to support purchase of equipment or capital, and other funding comes in ongoing amounts, which is typically used to support staff that are employed over extended periods of time. So the nature of the funding that you're reallocating may dictate which options you can pursue with your potential reallocation of that resource. The third option is that you are trying to make a decision about a reduction in your budget allocation and want to know the best way to allocate those resources within the reduced budget. So here, your total amount of funding has reduced, which again means that you are going to have to make a tough choice as to whether you reduce the size or scope of an existing service or even completely remove some services. With regards to equipment and capital, it's also difficult with removing ongoing budget amounts to remove a piece of equipment once it's already been purchased. In fact, it really doesn't make sense to do this. So most of your focus will need to be placed upon the services that are provided by staff members. However, if some pieces of equipment have ongoing costs that may not be justified by their use, you can consider taking resources away from the ongoing support requirements of pieces of equipment or capital. A final point to consider when using the Allied Health Resource Allocation Decision tool is that reallocation of your existing resources is always an option. Whether you are trying to make a decision with new or additional budget, or whether you're trying to make a decision about a reduction in your budget, you can always, at the same time, reallocate the existing resources that you have so that you are maximizing the value of those resources to the community that you serve.